Center Presents is here in Washington, D.C. for the March for Life. We're here to find out where everybody is from and what they're doing at home to promote the pro-life movement.
We're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Long Island.
Baltimore.
Sterling, Virginia. South Bend, Indiana.
Tallahassee.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Thomas More College from Northern Kentucky.
Awesome. And why'd you come down to the march today?
Well, when I was conceived, my dad wanted my mom to get an abortion, and she stood up against it and said no, so that's why I'm here.
I mean, just hearing her story and everything, like imagining my life without her would be, I don't know, unthinkable, and just defending the defenseless is just something that's very important to me.
Life starts from the very beginning, from conception. And if you can't defend life at its earliest state, at its most precious state, defenseless state, then you can't defend life at all. You're not supporting life at all.
There are all these women who believe that abortion is their only choice when there are so many other options that could help prevent that loss of life.
When I was 18 years old, I was in high school, and I was pregnant 3 months, and I wasn't gonna have the baby, and my mom wanted to support me, so she went with me to the abortion clinic on Roosevelt in Queens, and I was waiting there, and while I was waiting there, I saw the women there with their robes, their pink robes, and they were very sad. So at that time, I just got depressed in the moment, and I just started thinking, and I guess I started praying, asking for signs, and in my mind, it just came to me, I think it was God, you know. It was like, go look at your sonogram. And when I saw the picture, it was a picture of a baby at 3 months. And she had legs, she had a big head, and the arms. And in an instant, I asked the lady, I said, did you know that it was a baby? At first, I was like, it's a baby, you know, and because many people told me that it was a global tissue. And I was already 3 months, and I was only 18, and it's not fair, you know. But here's my daughter, she's 10, and God's been with me. I have her in Immaculate Conception School. And when she was 3, I met Christ, and that's when God revealed to me that He had saved my child through the prayers of people and the pro-life movement.
Part of it really comes down to being Christian, and that's that the very start of the Gospels deals with the Annunciation, or if it's John's chapter, it's the Word made flesh, chapter 1, and really it all comes down to life. If you don't have life, you have nothing else.
We just really believe that Jesus calls us to have a generation of life where we respect life in all its forms, from natural birth to natural death.
Fantastic. And is there anything you guys do at home to promote the pro-life movement?
Yes, we actually just started a pro-life club, so we've done, various work with charities, and
we had a baby shower for an expecting student, and she's due this semester. She's actually due next month.
One of the main things that we love to get involved in is spearheaded by the Sisters of Life, a prayer vigil outside Planned Parenthood in New York City.
Well, we have a group called Keep Infants with Down Syndrome, or KIDS. We meet every year at National Right to Life office before coming to the march. We do that to support the unborn babies with Down syndrome in the womb, and as you know, there's a high abortion rate of them. So it's very important for us to kind of just raise that awareness and support them.
we think everybody deserves life, and we think it's a great cause.
Because I think we can really make a change in our generation.
Just the march itself is like the American pilgrimage.
It's about the beauty and the goodness of human life, about the lives of everyone around, the lives of everyone in the world, my life, your life, your life.
After I went on the march, I realized that you really do so much good. Even if nobody notices it, being in prayer with everyone else, being in communion, and really standing up, you do more good than you can ever imagine. And you just have to be there to experience it.
Well, welcome again to Christian Answers. My name is Pastor Jeff Short, and that's me out at the March for Life. I am out at the Rally for Life and the March for Life, and I wanted to bring you some footage this week from the actual March for Life. I know I spent most of the time last time talking about the Rally for Life, and we are seeing some of that right here, the Rally for Life. But what I wanted to do is spend some time actually showing you some of the march, and we will get to that shortly. We're still here at the rally part of it, and that's the staging area, the little tent, the security tent that was set up. As you can see some more of the participants of the rally and the march. Like I said last time, there were a lot of young people, and I've had the opportunity to get into some discussions with some pro-life leaders about that, and it's encouraging. It is very encouraging to see so many young people out there because, potentially, because of the millennial generation that is now coming into adulthood, the potential is there for them to totally forget about the pro-life issue, just to totally ignore it because of the way they've been raised in our secular society. The potential, you might even guess that they would just yawn and be apathetic toward life. But in fact, we saw a lot of millennials at the March for Life and the Rally for Life. And I mentioned last time there was the pro-life youth rally that was before the main rally. And there were thousands and thousands and thousands of young adults and teenagers at the youth rally. And so that is an encouragement. Like I said last time, we are going to be praying and asking that God would give these younger people conviction to maintain pro-life all throughout adulthood, because the temptation would be to simply jump into it because of your church or your college group or your pastor is for it or some other social reason, but then when you get older, just forget about it and lose any kind of zeal or conviction for it. But we're going to be praying that God would raise up a new generation. That was one of the themes this year, the pro-life generation, the up-and-coming generation of millennials. So that is an encouraging thing. Now you see people starting to move to the March area. And like I said last time, there were a lot of people who, it looks like, did not go out into the middle of the field near the Washington Monument and stand there for an hour or so in the cold wind. They didn't do that. So it looks like they might have just stayed in their cars or stayed in their hotel until it was time for the march and then jumped in line for the march so that they could be a part of the march, but they didn't want to stay out in the middle of the cold, windy field like all of the crazies. Like I was a crazy, and some of the other people were crazies, but we were out there in the middle of the field, and I figured if I dressed warm enough, I could survive it, and I did survive it, and I didn't catch cold. I didn't get any more congested than I normally am during the winter, and you can maybe tell that I'm still a little bit congested, but it wasn't the pro-life march or rally that caused that congestion. It was basically just winter, and I get that comes and goes during the winter months. But I survived, and I hope everybody else survived. I hope there wasn't anybody that got too terribly sick from standing out in the middle of that cold, windy field for an hour or two. But you can see people making their way to the march area, and you can see people with their signs. Now, one of the good things about the organizations that were out there at the pro-life march and rally is that they had ready-made signs for people who wanted to carry signs. I grabbed a already made sign, a pre-made sign by an organization, and I used that during the march. And then I grabbed another sign. I had set that one down, and I grabbed another sign that had already been made by an organization. These are the park police, by the way, and they are cleaning up their metal detecting devices at the main staging area where I think if you got there about 2 or 3 hours early, you could probably get into that main staging area. And you could actually hear the speakers, and you could see the speakers if you were one of the fortunate ones that would get in there early enough. But again, you'd have to get there 2 or 3 hours ahead of time. And that was not possible, at least in my case, because I was on the road driving to the rally and to the march, and I did not have any extra time. I pulled into Washington, D.C. about 10:30 a.m., and I had just enough time to get over to the hotel, and then from there I was able to take my bicycle over to the Washington Monument, where I was told that was where the beginning of the rally and the march would begin. So I was just right on time to get over there, having gone 7 hours on the road, got over to the hotel, and then got on my bike to get over to the rally and the march. But these are more of the park police people, and they are cleaning up because the rally is winding down. The rally is winding down. And you can see people starting to file, and what they're doing is they're filing toward the street. They're filing in order to get ready for the march. And it was cold out in the street too. It wasn't just the case that you could get out of the cold by going over toward the street area from the field area. It was cold. It was cold in the street. And I was making my way toward the street, but again, you can't go very fast because you've got all these people that are thinking of doing the same thing. They're thinking of getting over to the march area. And so, and at this time, the speakers are still going. They're still speaking and still giving talks. So people are trying to get over to the street area so that they want to get moving. And one of the things that was a little frustrating was that it kind of took a while to get the march moving. It looks like some of the groups are trying to, you can hear, trying to get some of their people all together in the area. So I hear someone saying St. John's, it must be a church group wanting to get organized and get all their people together so they could begin to move toward the march area. And we're just sort of filing over toward that. I think everybody is ready to go for the march. They're ready to get up and marching after having seen the vice president and some of the other speakers. But like I said, the rally is still going. You can hear some of the speakers. I think this is a congresswoman. So you can see, you can hear a little bit more of the actual speakers here. This is that staging area that I never was able to get to until the very end of the rally. And you can see that up here you can hear and you can see a lot better than way back there where most of us were. But I wanted to give you a taste of what it looked like up close. That's the Washington Monument right there.
Talk about the power of one, right? I would like next to welcome to the stage Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa.
I think one of the great things about this is that it just brings together so many people.
What I am wishing for all Americans, whether they are born or unborn, is that they know peace, that they know love. Unable to defend themselves.
Okay, now I'm walking toward the street, and you can see people over on the left there. They're already lining up in the street for the march. And there is a C-SPAN remote truck, and I think they had covered the whole thing from start to finish. So that was the government, official government channel, C-SPAN. And it's nice to have the U.S. government cover these events like this. This is some kind of another network truck. Don't have any idea. Now, there are the actual people in the street. They're lining up, and everybody just sort of goes into the street. You see some signs already, people holding the signs. And some of the groups are chanting. They're getting their chants ready. If they come with a group, the group might have rehearsed a few pro-life chants, and so they can chant off and on during the march in unison with each other, and that was kind of neat. So what's really nice is that you get these people from all over the country. You get all different age groups. You get different Christian groups out here, different college students, and you get a wide segment of Christians out here. And there were even some signs, it's kind of strange, there were even some atheists for life, which you'll have to explain that to me, how you can consistently be an atheist and also pro-life. But hey, if they want to march with us and they want to support the pro-life cause, more power to them. So that was the side of the platform, the staging area. Now we're going over to the actual street, These are people coming into the street from the platform area. And we're just about ready to actually start moving. And that was exciting to actually have this huge mass of people heading down the street toward the Capitol, marching for human life. And now some of the people are marching actually on the sidewalk. Now, that is a technique to actually march along the sidewalk. Some of them were actually marching along the sidewalk. And that's a picture of, it was overcast. Now we're actually at the march, and this is a time-lapse video of the actual march. And you can see it starts out kind of sparse, and then you get some really dense marching areas where people are packed together, really dense, and then it kind of thins out a few feet, and then another wave of marching happens. So this time lapse really gives you, this is the entire march, believe it or not, at high speed. Actually, the actual march was moving quite slow. When it started out, at least, it was moving quite slow. But as it progressed, it actually did pick up speed a little bit, but not like this. This is a high-speed time lapse. But look at the density of people. These are pro-life people coming to Washington, D.C. in the dead of winter to protest the killing of unborn children and to say they celebrate life, they value life. And we were marching for life, and we were marching to stop the abortion status quo, which is abortion on demand, basically, since the Roe v. Wade. Now, that paper that you see there, that's of the Washington Post, and it has the date, January 27th, 2017, to show that this was, in fact, the 2017 March for Life, not a past year. And look at the people, though, here. I mean, this is into the march. This is about halfway into the march, a little less than halfway into the march, and it's picking up. It's not getting thinner. It's picking up. Now, as I was marching along, at one point I stopped to get my bike. I had to go back over about a block or so and get my bike because I had locked it up, and then I jumped back into the march and found it was easier to go on the sidewalk. So I actually was marching on the sidewalk with a pro-life sign. And lo and behold, as I was marching, a fellow came up beside me and was talking to some other people, and that was Rick Santorum, the Republican candidate for president of this past year, 2016. And he dropped out eventually, but I voted for him in a primary. It seems to me that I did. It seems like a long time ago, the primaries. But here's more of the march, and it just seemed like it's wave after wave after wave of people just jumping in there. It's almost as if some of the people actually stayed in their hotel rooms until they found that the march was moving, and then they moved over into the street and then joined the march. And some people, of course, were in their cars with their the heater on, and they jumped into the march. So it's amazing. It's very exciting. Now, there were a few things that I was surprised to see. One of the things is there was unfortunately a group of perhaps well-meaning Christians, but it was inappropriate what they were doing. They were trying to preach the Christian biblical understanding of salvation by faith alone, and they were trying to target Roman Catholic pro-lifers. And as a Protestant myself, as a Bible believer, and I believe in sola scriptura, that's a conviction of mine, we're saved by grace through faith alone and not of our works. But there's a time and a place for those discussions. Today, during the March for Life, is not the time and it's not the place to get into the discussion about salvation by faith alone. And so I wish that that group, I don't know what church it was, I don't know what group it was, but I wish instead of using a bullhorn and putting up posters and trying to talk to people who were marching for life, I wish that group, that church group, had joined in for the March for Life. I mean, don't they care about the unborn? Don't they want to see abortion ended? There's a time and a place for these discussions, and there needs to be those discussions, but you've got to rally behind these events that are taking place so that we can get the unborn protected once again in the womb. So that was curious. And then everyone is marching down the street. It just seems like at the end there seemed to be a lot more people that picked up in there. So as you can see, and that's the end of it right there. So yes, that was indeed the end of the march. And I appreciate you being part of this with me. We'll see you back next week on Christian Answers. God bless.